Welcome everybody to July's Treats and Eats with Miss Krista, my co-host, and me, Jodi. We, we love doing these cooking demos. We love teaching people how to cook with freeze-dried food, and we always feature the monthly specials from Thrive Life. So you are learning to cook with what is on sale, which is fantastic if you are using this food in your everyday cooking. But it's also really good to know how to use it if you are planning to store for emergencies, which a lot of you, if you came here from me, that is why you kind of buy freeze-dried food. But it's definitely something I use every day. I have a big family. I'm cooking all the time, and Thrive has made my life so much easier. And I have much less waste, which you wouldn't think I'd waste food with 9 people, but it's almost worse because I think I need to buy so much, and then they don't eat it, or they don't eat the things that I bought. So we're super excited. This month we are doing a Cafe Rio extravaganza. Now, Nancy's from Maryland. Are you close to Cafe Rios? I know Baltimore has some and DC has some, but I am a West Coast girl. So Utah is where Cafe Rio started. So my Arizonas, Idahos, they probably know Cafe Rio. If you don't, it's okay. You're going to know and love Cafe Rio after today. So it is the best Mexican food. It's like fresh Mex. Everything's fresh. Everything's flavorful, delicious. And I don't know why it's so good. It just is. And so we're going to teach you how to make all the components of a wonderful Cafe Rio meal. It's 6 courses. So we're going to bounce back and forth, but we're going to go in order of how you would make a Cafe Rio salad, basically. But every base of Cafe Rio kind of starts the same. You have rice, beans, a meat, your pico, your sauce, whatever. So you can do it on tacos, enchiladas, quesadillas, nachos. I make this for my family, and everyone has kind of whatever they want. So we are going to do what you would normally do is start with a tortilla in a like in a salad dish or a plate or whatever, and you can put melted cheese on it. I'm not doing the whole thing because I'm only making half the food, so I'm not actually making a complete Cafe Rio meal. You're going to get half and half from each of us. But the first thing is, so I'm going to be here. Can you see me okay? Yes? The first step after you do your tortilla is the rice. Now, Cafe Rio does cilantro lime rice, and I'm going to show you how to do it super easy with Thrive. Now, I have to admit, none of this is on the specials this month, but it goes with our theme. So we're making the Cafe Rio rice because it's so awesome. I'm just doing a small batch because today is a weird day and there's only like 1 out of my 7 children here right now, so I don't want to make too much food. But the nice thing about this with Thrive is you don't have to make a bunch of steps and cook rice and then add stuff. I just throw it all in, and then as the rice cooks, it all hydrates, and it's perfect. So I'm doing a touch of bouillon. I use a Thrive bouillon, but any bouillon works because sometimes it's out of stock. You want to have a little bit of garlic. I never know what's in stock with us and not, so I'm using Thrive garlic. I think it's in stock. It is also wonderful. I'm doing, so you can do jalapeno peppers, but I am doing Thrive green chili peppers. I think, are these on sale? Yes? No.
Yes.
I thought I was going to have something on sale this month. Okay, one thing that's nice about the pantry sizes is they have a pop top lid, so it's easy. You have to be careful because, whoo, they're spicy. It's not good, but they'll make you cry if you breathe it, and I just snipped it. So I'm going to do just about half of so like 2 tablespoons of green chili peppers. You can do a little more if you want it a little spicier. Our green chilies are not super spicy. They're just really flavorful. They're a mild chili pepper. And then it also calls for half a lime, which I happen to have half a lime in the fridge because I just cooked a bunch of this stuff. Now, if you don't have limes, I always am a fan of doing stuff with what I have on hand. You can have lime juice like in the fridge in one of those little mini lime bottles. You can also, if you were lucky enough to grab Thrive's lime powder, last time they had it, it's one of those seasonal items. This is what it looks like. It's a limeade. It's like a lemonade powder, but it's a limeade. You can take just a little sprinkle and it adds lime flavoring to anything. It is so good. And then cilantro. So you're supposed to put a handful of cilantro. I was actually going to use fresh cilantro, but it was moldy in my fridge and I just cooked with it on Sunday. So, you know, that's why I don't always love fresh. But so Thrive has a seasonings line. I don't think they have cilantro right now, but it is freeze-dried herbs, which is different than dehydrated. You could do dehydrated, it would be fine. It's just not going to be the same as fresh cilantro. And I don't know where else you can get freeze-dried herbs besides Thrive, so cross your fingers and Google it, I guess, unless they bring them back. So whenever anything like that comes on, stock up. So I think I have like 10 cans of it. But you can totally make this with just regular ingredients. Then I need a tablespoon of butter. My kids used the last of my butter last night making cookies. So this is what we have left from corn on the cob. That's all my only butter left. My daughter, she used my cookie mix, my Thrive cookie mix, which is also a seasonal item. And instead of 2.5 cups or 2.5 tablespoons of water, she put 2.5 cups of water and grew it. And then she decided she would add another can of the cookie mix to try to make up for her mistake. It was not good. So I had her put it in a cookie sheet, like a bordered cookie sheet, and make cookie cake, cookie brownies. It actually kind of worked. Okay, so like I said, I'm making a small batch. The recipe that I get this from calls for 2 cups of rice. Everything I did is just 1 cup of rice. This is Thrive's instant rice. You can use any rice. I like the instant rice because then I just throw it in here. My water is boiling by the time I added everything in. And if you look at the instructions, it says just bring to a boil, cook 3 to 5 minutes. Oh, you're supposed to add the butter in later, but whatever. I added in all my freeze-dried stuff. That's it. Cilantro lime rice from Cafe Rio. So we are going to just let that cook 3 to 5 minutes. I'm just going to turn the temperature down a little because butane stoves cook very hot. So I'm going to let my rice cook up. Everything else is going to hydrate in there, and then I'm going to show you the finished product when you come back to me, because Krista's going to do the second layer of our Cafe Rio salad fiesta extravaganza. I'm going to mute because then I won't be distracting to you. Okay, take it away, Miss Krista.
All right, awesome, cool. I'm going to do beans, but I have to do them over the stove, so we're going to walk for a minute. Okay. We're going to do this. I kind of hooked up my stove so you can see, although I can't see. Let me see if I can find me so I can make sure. Okay. All right. Is that good? Can you guys see that? Because I want you to be able to see the cans too. Okay. So I got my pan on like medium, and we're going to start with some olive oil. Any olive oil will do, right? And it says about a tablespoon. Now I've been cooking for a while. That's about a tablespoon, right? And my pan's pretty much hot. But what we're going to do is first is I've got in here some garlic and some cumin and some cilantro. And we are going to just put it, because my pan was actually pretty hot. So we're just going to go ahead and dump this in. And we just want to kind of brown that garlic a little bit, not burn it, obviously. I need a wooden spoon too. Oh my gosh, that smell. Oh, I'm telling you, we need smell-o-vision. I wish you could smell this. The second it hits that hot pan, it just the aroma, and that's what you're trying to do, is just make it a little fragrant. And it's got some cumin in there too. So I've got cumin and a little bit of freeze-dried garlic and my cilantro. And we're just gonna do that. And I'm gonna grab my phone really quick because I got my directions on there, make sure I'm doing everything right. Yep, don't burn the garlic is basically what it says. And now, okay, so these are the Thrive instant beans, right? So I pre-cooked the instant beans, which the directions are very, very simple. Bring salted water or stock to a boil. and add beans. Cover and simmer for 15 to 20 minutes. Serve warm or chill in the fridge, which that's what I did, was chill in the fridge. So here's my beans. I'm just going to add them here. So now we're just adding, we're putting layers of flavor on the beans, right? And these aren't normal beans, right? They're Cafe Rio beans, right? But we're just kind of seasoning them at this point. So I didn't want to take the time to cook the beans first. So I started with them already done. All right. So we've got that going on. And we want to just make sure that all the liquid is evaporated before we pour in the tomato juice. Now, the tomato juice I actually made from Thrive's tomato powder. And that was really easy to do. I just put like a tablespoon of tomato powder in a cup and added water to the consistency I was looking for. And so this is literally like tomato juice. It's nothing special. Okay. It's just to the consistency I was looking for. So now I'm going to go ahead and add that tomato juice. And we're going to let this sit and simmer for a little while. You will not believe what this smells like in my kitchen. It is amazing. Can you see me? It is amazing. It smells so good. Oh my gosh. It smells amazing. All right. So that is, we're going to cook that down for about 5 minutes. And I'm going to switch the burner and go to my, like, how easy was that, right? That was like literally 5 minutes, maybe. Yes, I did 15 to 20 minutes prep work earlier, but putting it together was really, really easy. So we're going to put this over here. We're going to get this over here. We have my workspace and do another recipe right here. And we're going to switch this burner. I'm going to switch these, have this one go over here so it can cook down. All right, sorry, I have to switch burners around. Make sure I'm not blowing anything up in my kitchen, right? All right, so that's going to cook down. So now we're going to do, you guys can see that, right? Okay, now we're going to do the pork. So we've got pulled pork, freeze-dried pulled pork, which is on sale. We've got green chilies, which are not on sale. I've got a little bit of brown sugar. I've got enchilada sauce. Now, I used enchilada sauce like in my pantry, right? This is Target brand enchilada sauce. It's actually not bad, but you can actually make your own enchilada sauce using one of our sauces. It's not the velouté, it's the other one, the brown Espanol. The Espanol makes amazing enchilada sauce. So just so you know, one of these days we'll do that on one of these. Let me grab my pork.
When I make the pulled pork, real Cafe Rio pulled pork, it is like an all day, like seasoning, and then you let it soak, and then it crock pots, and then you shred it, and then you cook it again. It's a big production. So when I saw pulled pork on sale, I was like, oh my god, we have to make this. That's right. It would make my life so much easier.
Right. And that was exactly what I was about to say. So what I did, I literally started like maybe an hour ago, just prepping, just doing some prep work. And what I did was I put my pork in a quart size Ziploc bag, and I poured my liquid stuff in there. And so I have brown sugar, and I have the secret ingredient of Cafe Rio's pulled pork is Coca-Cola. So I actually rehydrated my pork with Coca-Cola. Okay. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to pour out the remaining liquid that's in here.
That probably even makes it taste better than regular pulled pork because it actually like refreshes with the Coke.
Right?
So bad. It's so good.
Okay. So right out of the bag, this is what it looks like. Oh, let me turn that off real quick. So this is what it looks like right out of the bag. I'm going to take a fork actually 2 forks and just, separate it. Like, what is that called? I lost my train of. Yes, shred it. I'm just shredding it. So I'm taking those big pieces and shredding it as much as I possibly can here. So we're just going to take a minute to do that. Now I will tell you, whatever the directions say on the can, which I should read that. Let's see, what does it say on the can? It says, let's see, add a half a cup of hot water to 1 cup of pork and let sit for 20 minutes. Now, regarding the pork, I will tell you that I think it should sit 40 minutes. I always let my pork sit twice as long as the package says. Like this has been sitting in the fridge for an hour. Okay.
Especially if you don't break up the pieces smaller. Sometimes I'll break them up smaller before.
Yep, that is true. But once it gets a little hydrated, you can actually go in there and pull it apart like I'm doing, right? So, and shredding it. Like here's a hard piece right here. So, sometimes there are some pieces that need more work than others. Okay. But I think this looks pretty good.
Jim, I'm with you. When I go to Utah now, I probably eat there almost every day, and I get it in the airport on the way home too. Ooh, that looks good. It looks like when I make it in the crock pot.
Exactly, right?
It really does.
It does. Okay, now we're ready. Okay. And the directions for that's probably a class we need to have one of these days, is how to read these recipes. So like we got this recipe off a website, right? And what I'm doing is totally different. Usually it's very similar, but this one is very different. Because this one says put it in a crock pot for 8 hours. I'm obviously not doing that, right? So you kind of have to go with the flow with these things, right? And this is where you get to understand how to work with Thrive. So let me read you the directions because I want to, okay. So to cook in the, and this is Instant Pot directions, I think. Do it in the Instant Pot for 3 or 4, or maybe this is crock pot, 3 to 4 hours, or until it shreds easily, but don't let it get too dry, or on low for 8 hours. It says remove pork from crock pot and discard any liquid left in the pot and shred pork. So we've done that, but we just saved ourselves 8 hours, right? And this says in a food processor or blender, blend your half a can of Coke that's left, right? This guy, with your green chilies, your enchilada sauce, and the remaining brown sugar. Now, I thought about that and I'm going, wait a second. The only thing that really needs to be like blended is like the chopped chilies, right? And I think this called for jalapenos, and I'm using green chilies because I have them. So in my Thrive mind, I'm going, I don't need to do that. I don't need to put it in a blender. Why do I need to put it in a blender? I like my chopped chilies. They're already small. It's not like they're, I think they're going to be fine. So we're revising this recipe and we're actually going to do this. We're going to pour this in here. And in fact, I don't think I used a whole half, so I'm going to stop there. And then I'm going to do a couple tablespoons of green chilies in my Coke. I'm going to do my brown sugar, because the point of blending it, I think, is to make it as fine as possible. But if I boil it on the stove, I'm going to get the same result, except my green chilies are going to be a little more chunky. Does that make sense for y'all? I just want to show you how I'm thinking about it so that you guys can understand my thinking. Does that make sense?
It is it's a technique to learn how to take freeze-dried food and change recipes to use freeze-dried. That's why we like to show these cooking shows each month, to show you all the different ways compared to how you would normally do it.
Yep, because I know there are people out there reading this recipe going, yeah, how do I convert this? Right? So I really wanted to kind of go through that and show you the process that I put in my mind. Because really, I like the green chilies chopped, right? And that's fine with me to have them in my pork, because I do that with onions all the time. I'll keep them in my onions. Keep the onions in my meat.
It doesn't need to be blended. They'll be delicious in the pork.
Right, exactly. So this is what I'm doing. So it's coming to a boil here quickly, which is awesome. And then let's see, what else does it say? And it says the enchilada sauce. So I'm going to pour some of that in here too. And I am doing a lesser recipe like Jodi is. So I got at least half. So I'm kind of cutting everything in half, but I'm not measuring it. It's not exact. I'm just looking for a nice thickness on my sauce. And I will get that here shortly. That looks good. It even smells better. Holy moly. I've never really cooked with Coke except for in a crock pot. Anyway.
I need the pork part to go with my rice because my rice smells really good.
See, this is the problem with you living across the country, Jodi.
No. I'm going to show my finished rice. Well,
Okay.
Cafe Rio rice. Cilantro, lime. It's so good. It's perfectly done. You can do rice cooker. You can do the instant rice or however you do rice. But just throw everything in and you have yummy cilantro lime rice. So good.
All right. Now I'm going to add my meat.
And that is kind of nice if you have less people, instead of getting like when you buy a whole 3-pound pork roast, you know, it makes so much. So this is nice and it's easy. Like if it's just 2 of you, or just sometimes we have 5 people, sometimes we have 9 people, sometimes we have 2 people.
Right. And we're the same way here at this house. So it's nice to be able to cook for 1 or 2 or whomever, right? So, and it's funny when I added the meat to this, does this look familiar? Anybody been to Cafe Rio? It's just like the pork they pull out, right? This is pretty amazing. Okay. So we're going to let this cook on low for a little bit. My beans are cooking on low over there. So we're going to turn this down and then we're going to go make the pico. Just want to give this another quick stir.
That looks so good. Good job.
I know it does. It smells amazing. Okay. All right. All right. Going back to the counter here where I have a better setup. Okay. So now I'm going to make pico. So the pico has a couple different things in it. So we've got, and this is easy. Okay. So let me start here. So everybody's made salsa, right? Salsa is easy. You wash and peel and chop and de-seed and I'll make sure you don't touch your eyes with jalapenos, all of the things, right? It does take work when you're making your own salsa, right? But we're going to go through and this, I haven't done much prep work. I did put my green chilies because I wanted to have the can over there and my garlic in here, but that's pretty much, that's all that's in here. So that's the only prep work I did, was just put some garlic and some green peppers in a bowl. Other than that, we're flying solo here. Okay. So we'll show you how easy this is. All right. You can see that, right? All right. So in fact, my can is closed. So we're really starting from scratch here. So these are our freeze-dried tomatoes. These are tomato dices. Oh, that smells so good. Oh my gosh. You guys really need smell-o-vision. Anyway, so these are on sale. They are amazing. They're really awesome. They are pretty fragile. So when I work with these, I'm not very mean to them. I'm very nice, right? So, and I'm going to do about a cup of tomatoes. And let me get my list of what goes in here. And 1 small onion. It calls for 1 small onion. So I'm going to do, where's my tablespoon? And sometimes, do you guys ever get this? It's kind of humidified a little bit. I just take the back end of my spoon and crinkle it up. Even in Arizona, this happens, Jodi.
I was going to say, I'm very familiar with that in Pennsylvania.
Right? So, and a small onion amount is probably 2 tablespoons, but I'm going to put 3 because I love onions. Okay. So there's my small onion, right? Next item is green onions. This is a staple in my kitchen. This is, you can see I write on my lids when I opened it, all the things, right? So in fact, I'm almost done with these because I love them so much. I literally put green onions on everything. Oh, so it called for, let's see, 2 stems of green onions. So I'm going to put a tablespoon and a half or so, or maybe a little bit more, because this is how I roll. All right. And then we've got some cilantro. I'm going to put, it calls for a half a cup, and we don't even sell this anymore. Unfortunately, I wish they'd come back with all the seasonings, but you can do fresh cilantro if you prefer it. I'm going to do Thrive's freeze-dried cilantro because we had at one point. You know, we're always taking taking orders for new or stuff that needs to come back, right?
All the
But
spices.
I wish cilantro would be one of those. And then I'm just going to add the green onion or the green chilies and the garlic. And then it calls for lime. Now, Jodi had a half a lime in her kitchen, right? I do not have any lime. I don't have we do have some limeade powder. We used to, usually it's seasonal, but I'm going to use true lime. So just use what you got in your kitchen, right? It's not that big of a deal, but I just need a little bit of lime. So we're going to sprinkle that in as well. Now, here's the best part of cooking with Thrive. This is the part I love, and people sometimes don't understand this, right? Because in the real recipe, it says cut your tomatoes, you've got the juice from that, rehydrating everything, right? But what we're going to do here, everything is dry, right? And you know what the consistency of pico is. If you want it a little less thick, do less water. If you want it a little thicker and you want more juice, do more water. But here's the kicker. Here's my water. I'm literally, you can see that okay, right? Okay, that's why I use glass. I'm just going to pour a little bit on at first. Okay, and then I'm going to give it a stir. You can see water in the bottom, right? You can see water down there, but I want to get everything nice and wet and see where I'm at. This is how you figure it out. Okay, this is how you figure out how to really cook with Thrive. It's just trial and error. You know, just pour a little bit and see where you're at. See, this is actually getting pretty good. See how much liquid is in the bottom? Not a whole lot, right? Okay. So if you want a juicier pico, then you're going to add some more water. Me, actually, I kind of like this consistency. So I'm going to actually leave it as it is. I'm going to add a little bit more. Because you know at Cafe Rio, it's a little juicy. If you've been to Cafe Rio. See, there we go. Yeah, I think that's definitely their consistency, right? So, and if I had all the time in the world, I'd probably throw this in the fridge. In fact, I probably will while I probably pass it over to Jodi. But any questions on this? Because, you know, sometimes it gets difficult to figure out how to work with Thrive. And I think this is a really good couple of different recipes to show you that if you're going off somebody else's recipe, yes, you can do it. You can totally do it, but you just have to work with it and figure out what's going to be best for you and how you like it. I love that I can determine how much water goes in my salsa, right? Because one thing I don't like is when I go to Cafe Rio and I get the tacos, my taco shell, because everything there is juicy.
So into the shell too much.
My shells always fall over. It's a taco salad. Is what it is.
Well,
So
and one thing to remember too is some things will return really like normal. Now, a pico is not going to have the crunch of a pico when it's rehydrated. So it's going to have all the flavor, but if you're expecting like to bite into like a crisp tomato or onion, it's not quite the same. So don't get your expectations too high when it's something like that.
That's a good point. And another good point is that if it were me, truly, I'm a Southerner at heart, right? I was born in Atlanta. I love a good tomato. Like I pulled out tomatoes the size of my hand in the garden in Atlanta. Okay. So I'm a tomato freak. Me, I'd be cutting up a tomato and putting it in here. I mean, yes, I'm great to use our freeze-dried tomatoes. I love them. But I would probably want that crunch, and I want to have that real tomato in there as well. So,
and it doesn't have to be all or nothing. That's the beauty
right.
of it. Like if it's an emergency and you can't get a tomato, then make it all like that. And if you have tomatoes in your garden, use your garden tomatoes. But if you didn't go to the store and buy a jalapeno, use your green chili peppers.
Exactly. So that's the whole point of my little spiel. So I'm going to pass it back to you, Jodi.
Okay, this is the fun part. Well, it's all fun. Cafe Rio is all fun. Okay, the best part of Cafe Rio, especially if you ask my children, is their tomatillo dressing. I don't know why tomatillos taste so good, but I think it's not really the tomatillos. I think it's everything else that goes in it. So I am going to teach you how to make the tomatillo dressing with a few fancy additions using the food storage. My head's cut off, but that's fine. So the first ingredient in your tomatillo is milk, and I am going to use instant milk. It's 1 cup, which is supposed to be 3 tablespoons. I'm doing 4 tablespoons so that it's a little bit more like a whole milk, just because it makes it more delicious. Sorry. And then you're going to put in 1 clove of garlic. So since ones are fried garlic again, 1 clove is about a teaspoon, and this is a half teaspoon that I have with me. It's got tomatillo. I used to not know what a tomatillo was or what it looked like, and this came from the grocery store, and I was like, what the heck? So it comes with this weird like paper on the outside, so you peel it. Guys, I was like, I'm gonna grow a tomatillo plant. I did this one year, and oh my gosh, I think I probably had 500 tomatillos on the plant. It was like the most prolific thing I've ever had grow in my life, besides maybe zucchini. And I used 1 tomatillo for this recipe, and I probably make it 4 times a year. So there was a little waste going on there with my tomatillos, I'm not gonna lie. Okay, and the green chili peppers again. So you would use a jalapeno, or you can use your green chili peppers. I'm doing about a 1/4 cup, because that to me is like a 4-ounce can of green chilies. So that's what I do for that. This also calls for a lime juice. So I do a squeeze lime juice. You guys have one of these cool things? They make it so easy. Like, I'm not a huge fan of single item kitchen tools, but a few of them I just love. I just squirted the juice all over my dog. That's what you get for being in the kitchen, Zeke. Okay. So 1 whole lime. See what I mean? Like, the tomatillo is just like a small part of all the flavor and fat that goes into this. This is not, Cafe Rio is not a diet food. I'm sorry. It can be we call it a healthy fat, okay? But it's really not healthy. And then you have ranch seasoning. So that is everything that goes in here. We're gonna blend it really fast, and we're gonna add mayonnaise, and this is gonna be a cool new trick that I'm gonna teach you guys today. So this is all of my dressing items except mayonnaise. Did you know that you can make your own mayonnaise using your food storage? We're gonna make it today. So it calls for 2 eggs, which is 1 egg is 2 tablespoons of scrambled egg mix, 3 tablespoons of water. So I have 6 tablespoons of water in here, and I'm gonna do 4 tablespoons of egg, which is a 1/4 cup. Put that in there. And then I'm gonna do 1/2 teaspoon of salt. I'm gonna blend it a little with my immersion blender. I think this is on, there's one of these on Amazon Prime, like Prime Day today. So if you need one, look it up. Okay, so I'm gonna do that. Then I'm gonna add 2 tablespoons of vinegar. Guys, my kids are killing me today, but they finished my vinegar eating cucumbers earlier today. So I'm using rice vinegar, which is fine, but oh, I don't want that vinegar. I don't know what that was. Has weird stuff out of it. The regular vinegar in it is just fine. So 2 tablespoons vinegar, whatever vinegar your kids haven't finished eating in your house. My kids eat everything, and I thought I had more vinegar in the basement, but I did not. you want to get it really mixed. It's going to start to get thickened. You're basically beating eggs, okay? Then I'm going to add a tablespoon of mustard. Sounds weird, but it's not. Ground mustard. Probably like eating mustard with mayonnaise on your burger. That's what it says to that. Now it's like kind of like whipping cream. It doesn't really stick till the end. I'm gonna let it keep going. Then I'm gonna add 2 cups of oil. You can add whatever oil you want. I'm gonna 2-hand it. Add it slowly into my mason jar. I hope it works. I never made this before, guys. It's totally thickening up. I'm gonna get closer. It's gooey and mushy, like real mayo. What the heck? I made mayonnaise in 2 minutes.
Wow. That's amazing.
There you go. Homemade mayo. So if you run out of mayo and you don't have it in your food storage, because what's your shelf life on mayonnaise, guys? How many times have you thrown away mayo because you didn't rotate through it fast enough? I have definitely done that. So what's your shelf life on scrambled egg mix? 25 years? No, probably not. It might be 10, 20? I'm not sure. Anyway, I'm making a mess. So there is my homemade mayo. We need 1 cup of mayo for our Cafe Rio dressing. This is the consistency of mayonnaise. I probably could have done it a little more and made it a little bit thicker, but we're just gonna blend it in anyways, right? 1 full cup.
That's amazing, Jodi. Just amazing. I'm amazed.
My mind was blown. I was like, I'm totally making this. I'm making a huge mess, but that's okay. So you add your 1 cup, and again, this is why this dressing is so good. I don't think it's the Tomatillo. I think it's a cup of mayonnaise and ranch dressing. And I made this a traditional way without food storage items just this week. So after I'll show you the difference. This is a really good substitution. It's pretty much as good as the real thing using the food storage. The milk is so good from bread. It's just good. That's it. So we have, that smells so good. Creamy Tomatillo. If you have done Cafe Rio, I'm gonna pour it a little bit so you can see the text, the consistency. It's legit Cafe Rio dressing. Did I do the cilantro? I don't think I did. There's also supposed to be cilantro in this. Oh, she's got it right there. I had my cilantro. I didn't put it in. I'm gonna add this. Like same thing. They say a handful of cilantro. That smells good. All right. I have one more thing I'm gonna make. Krista's gonna talk for a minute because I have to clean my blender now. And then I will be back. I'm gonna wash my blender out because I need it, but you're not gonna wanna leave because I'm making tres leches using powdered milk.
Yep. Oh, I'm sticking around because Although I think, Jodi, you need to come over tonight. Just pack up your recipes, bring them out here. We'll have dinner together. Okay. All right. So I'm going to talk about what's on sale this month. So we've got some July specials going on, right? And on those July specials, they are up to 30% off. We do regular monthly specials every month. They're different. So this month we've got pulled pork that we have done. In fact, I should show you what that looks like on my stove now because they both look amazing. We've got butternut squash, which is amazing in itself. We have a recipe. I think one time we did a butternut squash sheet cake that is to die for. I make it every Christmas season. And then we've got banana slices on sale. We've got blackberries on sale, blueberries on sale, broccoli on sale, onion slices. Now I use chopped onions, and if you want to use onion slices, just break them in half because it's that easy, or smush them with a fork to get chopped. I don't care. But that's how versatile these things are, right? So onion slices are on sale. We've got tomato dices on sale that we talked about, instant black beans. And then has anybody seen or tasted our meals, our new meals? They are amazing. They have certain packages of them. One of them is called the Weekend Adventure Pack, and it's got a little breakfast, it's got a little dinner. So it's a pack of our meals that is on sale as well. Other things that are going on in the Thrive world is milk is 60% off. So Jodi just did the dressing, right? And she used the instant milk. The instant milk is one of my favorite things on the planet. I literally, every time somebody comes over to my house, I send them out the door with milk because I truly want everyone to try the milk. It's not powdered milk from the 60s. I promise you, it is not. It tastes actually good. I don't like milk. Like, I will not go to the fridge and grab a glass of milk. That is not my thing. I don't think I've ever done that. I never will do that. But I do eat milk on my cereal and eat it with a chocolate chip cookie or a brownie. And I will throw down a whole glass of Thrive milk every day. And twice on Sunday if I had a brownie. Okay. It is good. So 60% off. That sale goes through July 31st. So that sale is going to end. We had a supply issue and we ended up with a whole heck of a lot of it. And it was easier to put it on sale than to actually move it. So that's why it's on sale. But this sale is not going to last forever. It goes through July 1st. And then we're not going to see that sale for probably a very long time. In fact, Jodi can probably agree.
You said July 1st, July 31st.
Right, July 31st. I meant July 31st. July 1st is already gone. July 31st. So the rest of this month, 60% off the milk. Other thing, there is a hostess program going on, right? So if you want to host a show, even if you want us to cook for you, we can host for you. It's not that big of a deal. Just call one of us, whomever invited you to this event. And they're doing a special host award. So we have a little program called Give 10, Get 15. And what that means is that as a customer, if you send a friend, family member, neighbor, whatever, your referral link, because as a customer, you get a referral link. If you send that to someone who's never ordered from Thrive before, they're going to get 10% off on their first order from you. And you're going to get 15% back in Thrive credit for referring Thrive to them. Okay. This month only, that credit for you doubles. So if you share your link right now to friends, families, neighbors, whomever, they will get 10% off if they are a brand new Thrive customer. And then you will receive 30% in Thrive credit. So this is a program that they're doing through the summer, because summer is an interesting time, right? And so we want to get you a little bit of free Thrive through the summer. So that is a hostess program that's going on. So yeah, and Jodi and I are more than happy to actually do the cooking for you. We do these shows online as well. So it's not that big of a deal to put one together for you. But if you're interested in that, definitely get with one of us offline outside of this. I'm trying to think, is there anything else that's going on in Thrive? I've heard that there's going to be some new product launches in the fall, so we're excited about that.
There is usually an August back to school sale, but it's not. There usually is. I haven't heard anything for sure yet.
Yeah, this is true too.
Shelf life. Hey, that's still better than regular mail. And I have used eggs older than that. I will tell you. They're usually you can push that a little bit. Are you?
Yeah, usually it's just they guarantee the nutritional value of the product for the shelf life. The nutritional value goes down after 7 years is the way it's been explained to me. Ooh, what you got there, Jodi?
Are you ready for this?
I'm ready. Anybody else ready? I'm ready.
Okay, guys, my same lovely daughter that used my cookie dough mix, she used the last of my butter as well. I told you my kids are killing me today. So I made my cake with coconut oil. So it just gives it a little tropical flavor. It totally worked. And I also made it with gluten-free flour so that I can eat it. And the consistency is pretty much, so confession, I made this cake on Sunday for my son's birthday. And this is pretty good, pretty comparable. So again, if you don't store butter, but coconut oil stores forever, not forever, but a long shelf life. So that is a good substitution. We learn from our mistakes here, right? My Costco card got actually hacked, and so I haven't been able to do my Costco order. So that is why I don't have any butter. That is my confession. True confession. Okay, we're gonna do a mini powdered milk class. Krista and I did a full version of this. It's like an hour long of all things powdered milk, but this is gonna give you a couple snippets. So we made milk already, but tres leches, I am learning Spanish on Duolingo, so is Krista, means 3 milks, okay? If you wanna be my Duolingo friend, you can follow my streaks. So one of the milks is whole milk. One of the milks is evaporated milk. I do not store evaporated milk at all because of this trick. So 1.5 cups of water and 1 cup of milk powder. So normally for milk, what did we do? 3 tablespoons per 1 cup makes a cup of milk. Evaporated milk is like a really condensed milk. Because they basically condense it down and get all the water out of it and then put some back. Like, I don't actually know the science behind it, but this gives you an equivalent to evaporated milk. So I'm just going to do a little zippy. Okay, that's my first milk. So a can of milk is usually 14 ounces, 12 ounces, whatever. It's a cup, 12 ounces, a cup and a half. So I have my cup and a half. So this, what I just made, ends up making a little bit more. Just a little bit more. So if you want to figure out the ratios to make it less, you can. So 1.5. That's milk number uno, okay? In our Spanish lesson. I'm going to pour out the rest because I need my blender. Sweetened condensed milk, like Eagle, yummy. If you look at it, it's delicious, right? Well, you know why? Because it has a ton of sugar in the milk. Not because it's magic milk. So we have 1/2 cup of hot water. It also magically has butter in it. That's why sweetened condensed milk is so good. Okay, you think that you're just having a little milk, but it's actually butter and sugar in your milk. I just hate that. It makes me sad. But I like it. So there's my tablespoon of butter. Guess you probably could melt it first. Now I'm really at the end of my butter, guys. This is how much butter is left in my bowl. Sugar. Guess how much sugar is in a can of sweetened condensed milk? 1 whole cup of sugar. That's why tres leches is so good. Okay? And our magic ingredient. See, I told you you're getting that powdered milk class today. I think my milk is gone, but okay, I have another can. These are the old colorful labels. So I'm using milk that I bought probably, maybe not quite as cheap as the 60% off, but I always get really happy when I'm using my old food because I think of how cheap I bought it because it was 10 years ago. So my pull top failed me.
This is live TV, people.
Live TV. We're not perfect.
Live TV.
This is why I don't get paid on the Food Network to do my cooking show.
because we don't have people behind us doing it for us.
Okay, I get it. That's something good to think about if you only store pop tops and your tops break. Do you have a backup plan? Do you have a can opener? Like, you know, good to think about. Okay, so 1 cup of milk in your sweetened condensed milk. Again, it doesn't really matter. It's just making it thicker. Okay, and I measured my can of sweetened condensed milk. I think it's a 12-ounce can is the weight, but I measured the quantity, like of size, and it was 1.5 cups as well. So this is a delicious, I'm going to show you the consistency as I pour. It's thick, gooey, just like your Eagle brand sweetened condensed milk. And that makes just exactly 1.5 cups. This isn't 1.5 cup measuring cup. It's also one of the best things to have. Get one of those big measuring cup things with all the right sizes. Okay, and then it calls for 1 cup of whole milk is your third milk. Tres leches. So I'm going to do 1 more cup. Of water. Yeah. And remember how many tablespoons for 1 cup of water? It's 3, but if it's whole milk, I'm going to do 4. You could even do more if you want to be really disgusting, because this is not a diet food. It's just not. After this month's episode, we should do a diet one. Okay, good. Okay, so this is back to my milk consistency. 1 cup, normal consistency of milk. Now I have all my 3 milks. I'm going to stir them up. So I just made this recipe 3 days ago, 2 days ago, not using anything powdered, no powdered milk. And it is legit the same. So I have poked holes in this cake with a toothpick, and then you just pour the milk gradually. The tres leches, it gets all in there. And then eventually, like, you let it sit for like an hour, and all that milk soaks into the cake. And it makes something that's already really fattening even more fattening, because you just poured a cup of sugar and butter and milk all over it. And it's delicious. So I'm going to see, I'll angle it down for you, but it's already starting to kind of soak in, but you can see all that milk there. So by the time, after an hour, actually, I'm going to show you guys the finished one. Oh, they liked it. There's only one little piece left. So all of that whole milk is through this entire layer. It's like the moistest, most delicious, creamiest cake. You can top it with whipped cream and strawberries or caramel sauce, whatever, but it's his birthday request is Cafe Rio Tres Leches. So that was the grand finale, the dessert. So now you can make your Cafe Rio salad, you have your pico, you have your dressing, and you can have tres leches for dessert. And if you're gluten-free, you can even have a yummy gluten-free dessert. If you're dairy-free, I'm sorry, I don't think you can make tres leches dairy-free. Oh, look at that pork. See, we need to combine our meals.
Yep, this looks just like Cafe Rio pork, and so did the beans. The beans are over here.
I want to see the texture. Because Cafe Rio's black beans are yes, just like, oh, those look good. Those are perfect. So when you make like regular black beans from the can, they do not look like that. Like, this is legit Cafe Rio. So you guys, we're going to type up all the recipes. We'll put our Thrivealized version so that you can make it using Thrive. Let me know in the comments if you'd like to see like the original version too. Then you can kind of learn from it, like how we tweaked it. Or if you don't have all the same Thrive stuff we have, you can kind of see what they used. So let me know if you'd like that. It does take a few days to compile them all and get the video up and all that good stuff. So just be patient with me because sometimes I don't have time to do that till the weekend. Okay, Vicky wants both sets. Okay, I'll just do that. I'll send a link because I think I have most of the links to all the originals, and then we'll put the instructions for fried versions because seriously, like we just made this. This is usually an all day, multi-day production. Like the cake and the like my normal tres leche recipe is way slower than this, and I just didn't even have to buy. Like I had all of this on hand, even the stuff that I didn't have on hand because my kids like foiled me today. I still can make it all with my food storage. Like if you can eat like a king when you're in an emergency, that is fantastic. And if you can make something delicious because you don't live near a Cafe Rio, like, and it's easier and you can do it more often because of Thrive, like it is a fantastic thing. And it's such a blessing to my family. I'm so grateful that I have it. And we want to get it in your house too. So hit us up if you don't already buy from us. Whoever invited you here, Krista, me, or any of our team members that invited you, we will help you out. We would also love to help you share this with your friends. Like Krista said, we are always happy to, you don't have to do this huge of a production, but we can do a little mini intro and have some fun. Get you some free food, right?
Absolutely. Absolutely.
This is already soaking in. Now I have, since that other cake's gone, now we have a whole other cake. But we got a coconut flavored. It's going to be good. I was thinking I could make like whipped cream with a little bit of the lime juice in it, and it's like lime whipped cream with the coconut.
Yep.
So, okay. So yeah, I think it'll be a good learning for you guys to see both recipes because we do try to educate, but sometimes to see it and get to dive into that more on your own can be really helpful. The mayo. Probably a regular, like a hand mixer would work. I think it might take longer. A high power blender probably could work too. I think you need to pour it into like the top. So my blend tech has the opening here. So when you do the oil, it can be blending while you pour it in. Yeah, I think that would work. And you can do it with regular eggs too if you don't have powdered eggs. Are there any questions that I missed?
I think that was pretty much it.
If anybody wants to unmute to ask any other questions, fried version looks amazing. Oh, you guys are nice. Thank you. And don't forget, we do this every month, the second Tuesday of the month. So come back and join us next month. I'll put some instructions in the emails for how to get notified in case you miss it. Like sometimes we're not the best at announcing it everywhere. So we'll try to get you on a list so that you can get notified every time. Any other questions before we sign off? We kept you guys long, but I hope it was worth it. Like Cafe Rio is dear to my heart. How many times have we been to Cafe Rio together, Krista? Every time I'm in Arizona or we're in Utah, we got to do Cafe Rio. So.
Yep, I'm one less than a mile away from my house. It's very bad, at least once a week.
It's 2 hours away from me now, but then I just make it myself, and then we have a whole huge thing of the dressing. I just eat it for 2 weeks.
Right.
Okay, Susan, you're going to be at convention. Yay! All right. Well, we'll have to. Sometimes they do cater Cafe Rio. We have catered Cafe Rio at convention before, so no promise.
They did a leadership.
If they don't, you can get it at the airport. So. All right, everybody. If anything else, if you have any other questions that come up, you can reply to the email that I'll send out with the recipes or hit up whoever invited you and we can reach out to you that way.